What's up, dudes and dudettes? Sorry I haven't been uploading as much as I was before, but I've been kind of busy as of late. My back's a little messed up. I filmed something last weekend, or this past weekend, where I had like a little bit of a stunt. Had a death scene. I know, crazy. But through the process of doing this little stunt, like a couple days later, all of a sudden my back's like, yeah, listen, you're not 19 anymore. And I just want to remind you of that. But anyway, I've had a crazy year, and that's led to some things that I couldn't even possibly have fathomed. One such opportunity was I got to speak to a famous Hollywood manager for about 40 minutes and just discuss my career and where it's going and things of that nature. I don't want to say who it was, but this particular person managed people like Dave Chappelle, Dane Cook, Jim Breuer, etc. over the years. He said some things to me that I feel like was meant one way, and I took it a completely different way. Whether or not that's for better or worse, it seemed like he really wanted me to move to Los Angeles, and I am really enjoying living in Atlanta right now, and I think that things are going well for me in Atlanta. I was talking to him because I feel like if I were to get LA representation, that might open up the door for me for bigger roles and bigger projects. I'm already doing some pretty big projects. You guys will see probably in the next year what some of those things are. That being said, I think that I would get larger opportunities if I had representation in LA. And the reason for that is I think that the vast majority of like the series regular roles and that sort of thing, I think are cast out of LA. And I was talking to him about that, and he said that he's like, well, what percentage of actors do you think live in Los Angeles? And I was like, I don't know, like 60? And he's like, okay, what percentage do you think lives in New York? And I was like, I don't know, like another 20, 25? So that would put us at 85% right there. And then the rest sprinkled around in like Chicago, Louisiana, Atlanta, the Carolinas, Texas, so forth. And he goes, all right, so if you've got like $1 million in a project, you're casting for a project, how wide are you going to cast that net? Are you going to just cast in the one market that already has 60%? Or are you going to extend it off into like Atlanta for another 3%? And I was like, that makes great sense. And I get what he's saying. He's saying if you want those opportunities, you need to go to LA. But here's the way I took it. If he's right, let's say there's only like 3 to 5% of the total actors in Atlanta, I think that's a great thing because it's a much smaller pool. And because of COVID, they're casting a lot of local hires. They don't want people traveling unless they are the bigger roles, which means it's a great opportunity right now. It's the perfect storm to build a resume. For co-stars, guest stars, co-star recurrings, that sort of thing. They're pretty much all casting locally or within the Southeast, right? With there being such a small market of actors in Atlanta, that means there's not a huge amount of competition for each role, right? There's also probably a smaller quantity of them that are well-trained and even less that are my type, right? That means I have a much greater opportunity to book things. So I don't think that it's a good idea to move from Atlanta right now. And Atlanta is growing at such a rapid pace, it might be just a matter of time before it eclipses LA. Like, it's my understanding that 52% of all filming is happening in Atlanta. The question is, where's it getting cast from? That's the big question. And I think that might be shifting. But who knows? Another thing he said that I thought was interesting was when I was talking about reaching out to LA representation, he's like, dude, you're getting like 5 to 9 auditions a week, right? And he's like, how long have you been with your agent? And I was like, oh, it's been like 4 years. And he's like, now how much have you made in those 4 years? And I was like, and he's like, aim high. And I was like, I don't know, it's probably like 25, 30 grand, but most of it has been like in the last year. And he's like, let's say 40. Let's shoot high, say 40. If that's true, you've made $1,000 a year for your agent. That means they're working for like $1 an hour, 50 cents an hour. Would you work for you? And I was like, oh no, not when you put it like that. He's like, so you've got an agent that believes in you, because they're giving you like 5 to 9 auditions a week. You're not going to get that in LA. No one gets that in LA. And everyone I've spoken to in LA says the same thing. They're like, you're getting how many auditions? And again, I think it just plays back into far less competition here, but a lot of roles. Same size dog dish, far less dogs, if that makes sense. Again, I think that just says Atlanta's a far better opportunity at the present time. That could change, you know. Things change all the time. What I did do is I did have a brand new respect for my agents. Like, I know I'm not their top earner yet. That's the goal. But at the same time, they believe in me, and that's something to cherish. That's something to, you know, that's something to be thankful of and try to nourish. I think that his goal in talking to me was doing two things. Number one, try to impart on me that it's not worth his time yet to look at me, which is fine. Maybe we're not a good fit. In my experience, it's best to go with people who believe in you as opposed to people that need convincing to believe in you. If ever you're looking for an agent or a manager or whatever, find people that truly believe in you. Believe me. If you guys want another video of like horror stories of dealing with agents and stuff on the way up and how I learned, like, it doesn't matter if they're supposedly the biggest, greatest agent, if they don't believe in you, it's not worth a damn. That's one thing I learned talking to him is I don't think it's a good fit for me personally, but he seemed to think that I needed to live in LA. I think that's no longer the case. I just got put on hold for another project this morning, so I don't think I'd have that kind of opportunity in LA. Like, I've filmed something every month this year with the exception of March and July. That's crazy. Unless you're in the Southeast, who's filming that many projects? I mean, they're all small roles. You know, they're mostly co-stars, but at the same time, these are big opportunities. These are building a resume, you know? I think it's just bigger and better things to come from here. So it's just strategizing and working on keeping the snowball rolling and building, if that makes any sense. Thank you guys so much for watching the video and subscribing. Like, this is the start, man. This is just, you guys are on the ground floor. You know, you don't even realize it yet, but this is where it starts. So thank you guys for being a part of it. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Give it a like. And all that jazz. And I'll catch you guys next video.
Love it.